Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 23rd of March and I welcome you all to Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. In this particular video, we shall be taking up entire analysis of Hindu newspaper. We'll take all articles along with their background, and also I would like to tell you that you can avail synoptic notes of this particular session. These notes are available on our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. You can visit Telegram and from there you can download all these particular notes. Okay, so let's get started with the session. First of all, let's take a brief overview about the newspaper so that you can understand that which articles are important in today's paper. Here we have Delhi edition, and first article that we have, Arvind Kejriwal sent to ED custody till March 28. Now, uh, in the context of leaker policy of Delhi government, corruption charges were made and many leaders of Aam Aadmi Party have been arrested. And in this line, we see that Chief Minister has also been arrested. Now, we are actually not really required to see this thing that till which date he will be in custody, political angles is not required. But one important context comes here is that Aam Aadmi Party has declared that Arvind Kejriwal will stay as a chief minister. So whether a political leader who is in jail can function in a particular political capacity or not. So here we are going to see this issue in context of Supreme Court judgments. So we'll take this issue in that capacity. Tamil Nadu Governor Ravi re-inducts Ponmudi. So yesterday we have seen this particular article that how Supreme Court has asked Tamil Nadu Governor, sorry, to set constitutional order right in its place. And in this capacity, that has happened. If you have not seen yesterday's newspaper analysis, I will recommend you to go and watch, because this is a new series. This is a new episode in confrontation between the governor and chief minister's office. Okay. Then moving further, we have here this article, India to double assistance to Bhutan to 10,000 crore rupees. So recently Prime Minister has traveled to Bhutan, and we are going to see this entire article, that what are important takeaways that have come here. And not only Hindu, we are also going to cover other newspapers also in the context of this particular article. Then Allahabad High Court terms UP Madarsa Act a violation of secularism. We'll take this particular article also in context of GS paper number 1, social issues related to secularism. Then further moving in city section, we largely have regional political articles, respectfully disagree with the court's orders, aap leaders, aap worker hit streets. Fine, here in the context of examination, much important substance we don't have. So we will skip this particular section and directly will reach to editorial page. In editorial, first article that we have, two wars, consequence of for America's standing. We'll see this article, that how America is facing a confusion amidst of two wars that are going on, that is Russia-Ukraine war and Israel-Hamas war. We'll take this article. Then side article, app trap. So this article is saying that Chief Minister of Delhi Arvind Kejriwal has been arrested and many other political leaders have been arrested. Now, just before elections, it does not give a good sign, because the ED has been selective in targeting leaders of opposition party. And in fact, what has happened up till now, the case has not been taken to trial. It has been said that if there are so much solid evidence of corruption, then why the case is not being taken up to trial till now? So this is something that has happened. However, in article, exam substance is not given, so will not go in detail of this. Then below article, the CA Muslim exclusion and the lens of right. So recently Amit Shah addressed a conclave. In that conclave, the question was asked that why Muslims of Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan have been excluded from Citizenship Amendment Act, and he has given that first of all, partition was given a reason, and second reason was given that they are not a minority in these countries. So that particular hairline analysis of the statement of Mr. Amit Shah is being done in this entire article. Again, guys, article has too much of political undertone. Academic substance with respect to exam is not that much there. Now, this article is saying Pakistan is paying for its role in supporting Islamists in Afghanistan. So, guys, recently we have seen that Pakistan has carried Pakistan has carried the strikes in Afghanistan. Okay, and in this strike, at least around 8 civilians were killed, and Pakistan say that it was targeting the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is responsible for terror attacks. And in retaliation, Taliban has also launched attacks on Pakistani military posts. Now, article provides this thing that in past Pakistan has given harbor to terrorists, and now it is tasting its own medicine now. Okay, further moving on, next page we have this ground zero report, and ground zero report, it is published on Saturday, and it gives account it gives account of personal stories of people, that how they are getting impacted under a particular crisis. Now this ground zero report talks about the personal accounts of the people who traveled to Russia for better employment, but there they found themselves to participating in the battlefield. Okay, then further moving on, again largely political articles are there. Roller coaster ride of the Arvind Kejriwal in Supreme Court. Now here we have one important article: can Arvind Kejriwal continue to be CM while in custody? So Supreme Court and Supreme Court's interpretations find Madras High Court one of a judgment in Senthi Balaji case. We'll see. Then further moving on, after that, guys, largely political articles are here. So we'll move from here. Stalin hits campaign trail with scathing attack on PM Modi. Okay. Uh, Fine, bridge under construction collapsed in Bihar. Fine, nothing much important is given. And usually on Saturday, guys, articles are not that much because of particular reasons that is there. Number one, text and context is not published. We see that text and context contain some really good articles, but it is not published on Saturday. And also in opinion editorial section, one page is about this ground zero, which most of the time does not contains much useful substance. Fine. So again, political articles largely we have here. Real GDP growth may hit 8% this fiscal year, signals finance minister. So finance minister has seen that we are optimistic with respect to the GDP growth rate. Okay. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that basically uh, when we talk about the GDP growth rate, there are some positive signals that are coming, and these positive signals are there. First of all, inflation is stable. Inflation is stable. India's performance in terms of the export has been good, and recently we have seen that the export performance was best in the last 20 months. And also we see this particular thing, that summer crops are showing the good prospects. Because of that, food inflation will come down, fine, and rural recovery is also happening after the pandemic. So because of this, growth signals are coming good, and we might reach 8% growth rate. Okay, now this is something about this. Then further moving on, cotton production estimate diverge. Government rejects HCL's plan to split firm. Rao, nothing much important is given. Okay, on world page we have this article: Russia China veto US bid on Gaza ceasefire. We'll take this particular article. Then we have sports page. So this is overview of newspaper, and now let's discuss all these relevant articles one by one in detail. And as I've told you that you can download synoptic notes. Now moving on, guys. Okay. Before taking up the quotation, I would like to inform you that, guys, uh, I would like to inform you about two of our programs, that is Roundup 2024 and Power Play Prelims Test Series. So guys, in the last few days, I have received a lot of inquiries with respect to the current affairs batch as well as prelims test series. So I would like to announce you that we are offering a flat 25% discount on both of the modules, as they are the ongoing modules. So if you want, you can enroll in these modules and can avail 25% discount, which is valid for first 100 learners that enroll. Now, telling you briefly about the Roundup 2024. So this is a comprehensive current affairs batch for this prelims examination, in which we are going to cover entire prelims current affairs in theme based manner, such as environment, geography, polity, social justice, economy, science and tech. And every class will be given, the classes are live, but the classes that have already happened, you can access it in recorded format, and every class is supplemented with crisp notes and quiz. Okay, MCQ questions to ensure that effective revision is there. Okay, so the price of this particular module was a 2,999, but right now you can avail 25% flat discount on it, and you can visit our website, that is www.sahilsaini.net, and from there you can enroll. Also, I will put a link in the uh, comment box, pinned comment, I will put a link there also, you can enroll. And also uh, there is this power play prelims the test series which has 70 plus test covering both sectional as well as the full length test. You can enroll here. Fine. It covers entire GS syllabus in theme based manner. Now this module is also available on 25% discount. You can avail that. It was already nominally priced, that is 999 plus taxes, around 1100 something it was. Now it is also available on a flat 25% discount. You can avail any of this module or both the modules. Okay. And I will insist that see, if you are giving the mock papers, then understand this thing, that often the problem that comes is there, that we once we attempt the paper, then calculating the marks etc takes a lot of time. So this test series is online. Once you attempt the paper, uh, you just submit your test and you get the report that how many were correct, how many were wrong in just a minute. So it saves a lot of time in attempting the paper. Now starting up with the discussion for today. So every class we start with a GS quotation, and today we are going to start with quotation from a German philosopher, Immanuel Kant. So Immanuel Kant says that in law, a man is guilty if he violates the rights of other. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. In law, a man is guilty if he violate the right of other. Okay, if you break a law, you are guilty in law. But in ethics, only if you think to break a law, if you only think to violate the right of some other person, you are guilty. So ethics is based on maximalist standard, law is based on minimalist standard. So ethics is based on maximalist standard. Fine, you can use this particular quotation in GS paper number 4, ethics. GS paper number 4, ethics. Now moving on, and let's take first article for today. Let's take first article for today. So we have this article, India to double assistance to Bhutan to 10,000 crore. Now this article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, international relation. GS paper number 2, international relation. Now guys, when we talk about Bhutan, Bhutan happens to be a special partner for India. And India has followed Bharat for Bhutan and Bhutan for Bharat. Bharat for Bhutan, Bhutan for Bharat. Means both the countries stand for each other in thick as well as thin. Now, when we talk about India-Bhutan relation, so in the context of India-Bhutan relation, understand this thing, that both the countries share an exemplary. Okay. So when we talk about India and Bhutan, both the countries share an exemplary, unique bilateral relation which is based on mutual trust, goodwill, understanding. And when we talk about the relations of India and Bhutan, they are based on the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. This Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation was signed way back in 1949, just 2 years after the independence of India. And this particular treaty has been renewed in 2007. And formal diplomatic relations between India and Bhutan, they were established in 1968. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that India-Bhutan relations have got renewed. Why it got renewed? Because of Bhutan's project of developing the Gelefu Mindful City. Gelefu Mindful City. So let's discuss about that also a little bit. Let's discuss about that also a little bit. Okay. So here you can see, fine, the Gelefu Mindfulness City. So let's see this. Okay. So basically, guys, here you can see that we have Bhutan and southern Bhutan. Here there is a city of Gelefu. Now Gelefu, Bhutan is developing Gelefu as a city which will be based on tourism, which is based on healthcare sector, and it will deploy the non-polluting industries, industries in IT, hospitality, wellness, etc. will be developed. And also Gelefu will be designated as a special economic zone. And Bhutan wants India's assistance, India's financial help, as well as India's technical assistance in developing the city of Gelefu. And to further cooperate on this and on other aspects, Prime Minister of India has traveled to Bhutan now. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that it is not usual for the Prime Minister to travel to other countries when the model code of conduct is in operation. And also, Prime Minister has announced that 10,000 crore rupees assistance will be given to Bhutan for the next 5 years. So, announcing such big ticket announcement, it is not done usually during the time when model code of conduct is in operation. But given the special relation that is there between India and Bhutan, Election Commission of India gave the approval to Ministry of External Affairs to go forward with this particular trip. So, Prime Minister traveling when MCC is in operation, it shows that how deep relations are there between Bhutan and India. Now, let's discuss a little bit more about this particular visit that has happened. Now, guys, when we talk about India and Bhutan relation, this particular relation also becomes very much special because of huge people-to-people ties that are there between India and Bhutan. Approximately 50,000 Indian citizens, they are working in Bhutan, and largely they are involved in construction sector, education sector, technical consultancy in infrastructure. And many of Indians, they travel to Bhutan, they enter and exit Bhutan every day, and they are living on the border towns. Now, what India has decided? India has decided that India will double the financial assistance that is given to Bhutan for the next 5 years. So, it was 5,000 crore rupees between 2019 to 2024, and it will be doubled to 10,000 crore for the period of 24-2029. So, we have doubled the financial assistance that we give. Also, as Prime Minister has visited Bhutan, Bhutan has also conferred Bhutan's highest honor, that is Order of the Druk Gyalpo, on Prime Minister of India. Now, this Order of Druk Gyalpo, it is the highest honor that Bhutan gives. This is the highest honor that Bhutan gives, and this honor was initiated in 2021, and the first one has been given to Prime Minister of India. So, it can be used as a reference to show that how much value Bhutan is giving to India. Now, why this highest honor has been given? It has been given it has been honor to reciprocate the assistance that was given. India's role, India assisted Bhutan in managing the COVID-19. To reciprocate that, this honor has been given. Now, in this particular visit, multiple pacts have been signed between India and Bhutan. Let's discuss these particular pacts, these particular agreement. The first pact that has been signed is the two proposed rail links between Kokrajhar and Gelefu. If you recall the map, so here you can see that we have Kokrajhar. We have Kokrajhar in Assam, and here is Gelefu, Bhutan. So these two cities will be linked through a railway link. Okay, so first railway link is between Kokrajhar and Gelefu, and second railway link is in the Banarhat Samatsi. So Banarhat is in West Bengal and Samatsi is in Bhutan. So these two links will also be developed. After that, supply of petroleum, oil, lubricant and related products. So India supplies in huge quantity lubricants, oil products to Bhutan. So here pact has been signed. Then recognition of official control exercised by Bhutan Food and Drug Authority by the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India to facilitate trade. Now understand this thing. When we talk about the FSSAI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, okay, it regulates the food product. Okay, so basically sanitary and phytosanitary measures in the context of the food items, fine, they are regulated by the FSSAI. So FSSAI and Bhutan's Food and Drug Authority standards, they will be synchronized so that the food items trade can be enhanced between the two countries. Then cooperation in the field of energy efficiency, energy conservation. Now, first of all, when we talk about Bhutan, Bhutan happens to be a carbon negative country. What is the carbon negative country? Now, world countries are trying to become carbon neutral. Carbon neutral means that carbon that we are emitting and carbon that we are absorbing should be balanced. But Bhutan is carbon neutral, negative, sorry, means that the carbon that they are emitting, it is way less than the carbon that they are absorbing. So it is a carbon negative country, but still, how to be even more energy efficient? For that, there will be energy efficiency, energy conservation cooperation that will be given to Bhutan. Okay. Then cooperation in sports and youth to help further the people to people links. Then cooperation in sharing reference standards, pharmacopoeia, vigilance and testing of medicinal products. Now, what is pharmacopoeia? Pharmacopoeia, it is a literature or it is a text which details that which chemical substance, which medicine will have what type of impact. So basically, medicinal exchange. Okay, on pharmaceutical front, knowledge exchange will be done between India and Bhutan. Okay, the next is joint plan of action on space cooperation. Space cooperation, so you know already, ISRO, which happens to be one of the premier space agency of the world, fine, it is going to assist Bhutan also in the space exploration. And renewal of memorandum of understanding on peering arrangement between National Knowledge Network of India and Drug Research and Education Network of Bhutan. So what is a peering arrangement? In peering arrangement, two organizations, they exchange research material, they exchange publications with each other. So some research is done by Bhutan, Bhutan will exchange it with India, and India will share with the Bhutan. So peering agreement of between National Knowledge Network of India and the Drug Research and Education Network of Bhutan will be renewed. Fine, and it will focusing on enhancing the it will focus on sharing the best practices, research literature. Fine, also it will aim to enhance the digital connectivity also. This is one of a pillar. Now, as I have already told you that this particular visit is special. Why? Because model code of conduct was in operation, but still the visit has happened. So it showcases that how deep relations are there. So this is about this entire issue. And guys, here we have taken reference from other newspapers also. So I'll not advise you to go too much in detail. Now, next article. Allahabad High Court terms UP Madarsa Act a violation of secularism. A violation of secularism. Now, guys, when we talk about secularism, to understand this particular thing, okay, a minute. Now, when we talk about secularism, so originally word secularism was not mentioned in the Constitution of India. With the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, secularism got specifically added in the Constitution of India in the preamble. Now, when we talk about secularism, guys, India follows the model of secularism, which is based on certain pillar. Number one, there will be no state religion. There will be no state religion. Number two, that number two, there will be the absolute freedom of there will be absolute freedom of conscience, absolute freedom of religion, absolute freedom of conscience as well as religion. Okay, and we see that the basically Indian Constitution provides a fundamental right to religion also. Number three, we also see this particular thing that state can interfere in the matters of religion for constructive purposes. State can interfere in the matters of religion for the sake of social justice. So this is the secularism of India. Also, India believes that all the religion are equal. Fine, India believes that all the religion are equal. No special preference is given to any one religion. Fine. Now, basically, guys, here this particular article it is talking about the Uttar Pradesh Board of Madarsa Education Act 2004. Now, UP Board of Madarsa Education Act regulated the madarsa institutions, regulated the madarsas. Now, madarsas provided education to the children belonging to Islam, and the nature of education is religious in nature. Nature of education is religious in nature. Now, what has happened? UP Madarsa Education Act was challenged. It was challenged in Allahabad High Court. It was said that how state can sponsor the religious education. How state can sponsor the religious education. Now, if you have read the fundamental right to religion, in fact, in your Lakshmikant, you might have already read that education that will be provided by the state institutions has to be secular in nature. So through UP Madarsa Education Act, we are sponsoring the education which is religious in nature. So it was a challenge. And Allahabad High Court has said that it is not possible to segregate and save any portion of this particular act, that is the UP Board of Madarsa Education Act. Why? Because religious education is being provided. It has been provided that the state has no power to create a board for any type of religious education. Fine, state cannot provide religious education. State cannot create a body, cannot create a board that will specifically provide the religious education. So therefore, this UP Board of Madarsa Education Act 2004, it has been declared as against the philosophy of Constitution of India. Now, according to Allahabad High Court, it was provided that it is the duty of the state. It was provided that it is the duty of the state to provide education which is secular in nature. Okay, and particularly the minor children who are below the age of 18, they should be provided the secular education. There cannot be any discrimination. No different type of education can be provided on the basis of religion. No different education can be provided on the basis of religion. And in fact, secularism, it is the part of the basic structure of constitution. So therefore, this particular act has been held as invalid, unconstitutional, and it was also said that as the religious education is being provided by the Madarsa board, it is also leading to the violation of Article 21A, right to education, and then Article 21. So this is something that has been provided in the context of this particular article. Okay, so this is about it, and these particular things can be provided as references, can be provided as case studies in the context of your answers. So that is all about it, and now we'll move to next article. Can Arvind Kejriwal continue to be CM while in custody? This article will take with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to polity. GS paper number 2, issues related to polity. Now, first of all, before going in this particular article, let's understand some basic background information and then we'll go in the article. So recently, we have seen this particular thing that Delhi Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, he was arrested by Enforcement Directorate, and right now he is in custody. And it has been announced by the Aam Aadmi Party that he will continue to serve as Chief Minister. So a question opens up that a leader who is right now in custody, who is right now in jail, can that leader serve in a political office or not? So in this context, there is two of the Supreme Court judgments there are two of the judgments, one by Supreme Court and one by Madras High Court, that we need to understand. So basically, there was one similar case of Tamil Nadu Electricity Minister Senthil Balaji, and he was arrested for money laundering charges. And when he was arrested, this particular question came that while he is arrested, while he is in custody, can he continue his political position? Can he serve as a minister or not? Now, there is one judgment of Supreme Court, and the judgment is Manoj Narula versus Union of India. And in this Manoj Narula judgment, Supreme Court laid down that there are certain basic norms for holding a public office. If you want to hold a public office, certain basic norms should be fulfilled. The first norm is constitutional morality. That while you are holding a public office, ensure this particular thing, that you are not acting in a manner which is contradictory to rule of law. You should not act in a manner which is against the principles enshrined in the constitution. So when you are holding a public office, ensure that you are not violating the constitutional spirit. Second, that the norm is good governance. Fine, good governance. When a person is sitting in public office, they need to rise above the narrow private interest, and they need to act for the public welfare. And the third is constitutional trust. Okay, now public office has a lot of moral trust, has a lot of public trust. Okay, it is a public office, and you should hold the public office in such a way that public trust, that moral trust is not breached. So these three conditions are there. Okay, these three conditions are there. Now a question comes that a person who has been arrested, should he continue as a minister or not? So basically it is provided that, let's see. First of all, these are some ethical moral standards that are there. But apart from that, there are some practical difficulties that are also there. Number one is that basically, if a person is in prison and is acting as a minister, he has to review a lot of files, he has to review a lot of documentation that will come to him. Now, problem is that many number of times these files and these documents are confidential. But if they are to be provided to a minister who's in prison, then all those documents have to be reviewed, have to be screened by the prison authorities. Okay, so reviewing by the prison authorities often might lead to the problem when the confidential documents are there. It will delay the processes. It will delay the processes. Also, it is being provided that if a person is holding a particular portfolio, is holding a particular office, he is receiving a salary, but he is not fulfilling the official duties because he cannot go to the office, might not be working that efficiently. So therefore, it has been provided that the people or the political leaders who are in jail should not hold any political portfolio, should not hold a portfolio, should not hold any such political position. This is one, there is a constitutional and moral standards that are there, and second, the practical difficulties are there. Now, so Madras High Court, now these are certain things that are there. Now Madras High Court took in account the Manoj Narula judgment, and also took in account the practical limitations that are there. And Madras High Court emphasized that basically the leaders, ministers, they are the repository of people's faith. Okay, and High Court said this particular thing, that though sometimes they might not be disqualified as MPs or MLAs under the Representation of People Act 1951, but they should not hold these offices. They should not hold these positions for the sake of ethical symbolism, for the sake of ethical standard. Are you getting it or not? Though you might not be disqualified under RPA, but still for symbolic purpose, you should vacate a public office. If you are holding a portfolio, you should vacate it. You should step down from such responsibility because of all these problems that will come here. Fine. I hope that you've understood it. Now moving to next article. To war, the consequence for America's standing. Okay. Now this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2. This article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, international affairs. Now basically you see that 2024 is going to be an important year for US, because US is going for presidential elections in 2024, and right now we see that US is involved in two of the wars that are going in the world. One is Russia Ukraine war, and when we talk about Russia Ukraine war, USA is involved there because USA has supported Ukraine in this particular war and has provided a lot of weaponry, has provided a lot of financial aids. Secondly, Israel-Hamas war. So US has stood behind Israel in this Israel-Hamas war. Now, basically, guys, as presidential elections are coming, will after the election these same things will continue or not? Have these two involvements of USA served the US or not? All these particular things are there which are being discussed in this particular article. Now, first we'll discuss about the US's involved in Ukraine. Now, we have seen this particular thing, guys, that USA is involved in the Ukraine war and up till now has provided $75 billion of aid to Ukraine since 2022. And it is also going to provide the $60 billion of additional aid to Ukraine. But this particular aid has not been cleared by the US Congress. If you see, US itself has such huge public debt. In this capacity, giving $75 billion to Ukraine and pursuing to give 60 billion more to Ukraine, it opens up a lot of challenges for US. That how US is going to sustain this. Now, when we talk about the European Union has also pledged the support. But when we talk about the US's aid is far more higher given any country of Europe. Now, understand this particular thing, that USA is in a dilemma. USA does not want Russia to win this particular war, but at the same time, it cannot endlessly support Ukraine also, given its own practical limitations that are there. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that what has happened. Now we see that Donald Trump is also actively participating in presidential race, and Donald Trump very clearly had said that if he came to the power, he is going to ensure that no new money is given to Ukraine, and he will ensure that this particular war should be brought to an end. there is a kind of a war fatigue that has developed, and this war fatigue has developed in Russia, Ukraine, but at the same time in US, because the US, they have now fed up in giving this particular money. So now Donald Trump's approach of saying that will not give any money to Ukraine, it is working in their favor. Okay, so what is going to be there? This is one issue that is there. Then guys, there is also one more war in which the USA is involved quite actively. This is the Israel-Hamas conflict. Israel-Hamas conflict. Now see this particular thing, that when this Israel-Hamas war got started in October, USA was very clear that they are going to support Israel. They are going to support Israel. But guys, we have seen that so many months have happened and Israel has virtually wiped off Gaza, is going to wipe off the Palestine from the face of the earth. There are so much sympathies that have generated for the people living in Gaza that now USA is also changing its approach. And I will just show you one particular thing. I will just show you one particular thing. So if we see guys, recently what has happened, United States Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer uh, gave a speech, and in this particular speech, he is calling for a new government in Israel. New government in Israel. Fine. Now, guys, if we see the Chuck Schumer, okay, fine. He himself is Jewish, and he had a long-standing relation with the Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he is saying that Israel government should change. Why? Because they have crossed all the acceptable boundaries, fine, of a acceptable boundaries of war. They are attacking hospitals, they are killing children, they are killing women. This is unacceptable. Also, we see this particular thing that the Biden is also not supporting the war that is right now going on, and Biden has also said that there should be a ceasefire. Fine, but Israel is not listening. Now, if we find that US, which was supporting Israel, now it is turning, it is changing its approach. It is changing its approach. Okay, it is changing its approach. Now, fine. So, when we talk about US has historically supported Israel, but it is now publicly critical of Israel. Why it has happened? Because first of all, we see that Israeli aggression in Rafah, it has led to a lot of casualties. Fine, innocent people are getting killed. Also, we see this particular thing that Israel is not having any political solution for Palestine. It cannot be done that you will not give a single inch of land to Palestine. Some political solution should be there for Palestine, but they are not having any political solution. Also, guys, we see this particular thing that around the world now, the countries, they are also turning against Israel. So therefore, USA is having a lot of dilemma. Also, there is elections that are impending, and in US also there is a lot of public sentiment, which is particularly the younger Americans. Fine, there is a basically public sentiments are getting changed. So therefore, US right now is in dilemma that how it should balance its approach in the context of this war. Should it continue supporting Ukraine and Israel, or should it change its policy? If they backtrack on the policy, that it is going to be an ideological conflict. But if they continue, then also it will have a lot of problem. So what is way forward? What is solution? In the context of Ukraine, there should be an urgent resolution to the stalled aid in Congress. Okay, urgent resolution that whether they're going to give the aid or not going to give the aid. Okay, consideration of the broader implication of US policy shifts on European security. If US withdraws from Ukraine, then what will become of Ukraine? And if Russia wins, then what security implications will be there on Europe? US cannot abandon that, but US cannot continue it. So US should reconsider it. Fine. Encouragement for Israel to pursue a sustainable peace plan with Palestine. It should use its diplomatic power and should pursue them to pursue the peace. Okay, and emphasize and so US-Israel relations are important. They should be continued, but the concerns of civilian casualty, etc., should also be seen. So this is, guys, all about it. Fine. Then we have one more article, but before that, let's take some mains questions on the articles that we have discussed. So first mains question will take in the context of article we have discussed, in the context of Chief Minister continuing in political office. Discuss the challenges faced by public officials, especially chief ministers, when fulfilling their duties while in custody. Highlight the importance of upholding constitutional morality, good governance, and public trust in public official office roles, as emphasized by the judiciary. So, two of the judgments that we have discussed, how they have emphasized and whether they should continue or not. Then next is discuss the implication of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and Israel-Hamas region on the US global standing and foreign policy approach. How do these conflicts intersect with domestic politics, particularly in the context of upcoming US presidential election? Okay. So this is about it. And then we have one more article. Russia, China veto US bid on Gaza ceasefire at UN Security Council. At UN Security Council. Now, what this issue is all about? Fine. Basically, guys, in past there have been a lot of resolutions that have been moved in UNSC, also in UN, other UNGA also, with respect to ceasefire in the context of Israel-Hamas war. Now, what happened? What happened? USA USA raised a resolution. USA raised a resolution to immediately implement ceasefire. To immediately implement a ceasefire in this in this Israel-Hamas war. Now, what has happened? Russia and China has vetoed it. Russia and China has vetoed it. Now, why Russia and China has vetoed it? It is because of the type of language that has been used. Because of the type of language that has been used. Now, Russia and China is saying this particular thing, that so many children, women, innocent people have been killed. Okay, and you are saying that the ceasefire should be brought. You are not holding Israel responsible for all these casualties. In this particular resolution, Israel is not being charged of all the war crimes that they have done, all the casualties that they have committed. Just you are bypassing it and you are calling for ceasefire. So they say that politically, the language that has been used, we don't agree with it, and because of that, they have vetoed. They have vetoed. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the Russia and China's particular viewpoint, it can be justified to a particular capacity that you need to hold Israel accountable. But but if we don't implement the ceasefire immediately, these atrocities will increase even more. So right now, narrow political divisions that are there between Russia, China, and USA, they should be subsided and they should cooperate. They should cooperate as how this humanitarian crisis that is unfolding, it is how it is to be brought to a conclusion. This agreement should be there. So this is, guys, in context of it. Beyond that, I'll not advise you to go too much in detail, because because this particular matter will is the dynamic and will unfold a lot in the next few days. Understand this particular thing, guys, that when you are reading any article, ask a question from yourself, that what is the utility of this article in from the point of view of examination. Keeping it in mind, you should read it. Now, when we talk about it, these things are important to understand that where the war is going on. But this matter becomes so, it is so dynamic that by the time you will write exam, it will change so much. So I'll not advise you to go too much in detail in this particular development for the exam purpose. So that is all about it. And now we come to an end to the today's session. So that is all, guys, about this. Now we'll be meeting on Monday. Till then, please take care of yourselves, and if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much.